Nice. I can't believe we're already 20 days into the new year. It feels long. I am ready for summer. Oh. Gonna light up some eucalyptus. There we go. Well, others join. I don't get where, there it is. Everything looks so different. I had to turn off, my computer had to turn off, do a replay. Now everything is different. I can't log into things. It takes me hours. Hate that. Good evening. We have a heavy wind here. So if I cut out, I will be trying to get on as soon as possible. And this class is being recorded. So you will get to listen to it again in case, again, I'm choppy or something. So I hope you have a candle with you tonight. We're going to start off the night doing an invocation before we get into the lesson, because I have so much up. I don't even know if I'm going to get it through. And I thought, let's start with connecting to our power this year. So welcome to the first class of 2022. For some reason, I like writing it out. 22. I don't know. Maybe it makes me feel young. So I want you to grab your candle and I want you to hold on to it for a few minutes. Oh, perfect. Yeah, just hold on to it for a few minutes. And you know, this class is about us being able to invoke the goddess. And to invoke the goddess is to call upon her for help, for protection, for knowledge, whatever it is that we want. And to obviously manifest our desires and the things we want in our life. And before we do ritual to invoke her, it's important for us to make sure that we feel safe, we understand how we feel going into ritual, and we take a moment and we bless the things that we're going to be using. So hold your candle and breathe and connect to where you are now. Welcome to 2022. Okay. So one way I like to charge candles, and this is something that you can write in your book of shadows. So you'll hold your candle and you can say this out loud or mentally when you're doing your spell work, whatever is more powerful to you. It doesn't matter if you say it out loud or if you say it and just mentally say it. It depends on my surroundings and how solitude I want to feel. Sometimes I say my spells out loud. I usually do spoken spells when I'm doing spells for myself and other people. But if I'm doing something where I really want to hone in my feelings and it's all about me, I usually go internal and I go mental, like I speak it mentally. I go mental. I love saying that, it's funny. Okay, so tonight I want to go into healing, because as a high priestess, people will come to you for that. And healing in so many different ways. And so one way to help along a person's recovery, whether it's from illness or you're doing a spell for someone, you always want to write their name. And I do their name and something else that I personally know about them. So I'll put the name in the city, or I'll put down, or I'll look, I have their picture up on Facebook and I'll do the spell with the picture up. Or you can do a poppet. Some people will use a human shaped candle, and based on the gender, right? So one thing that we can do is that we have the power to charge our candles. And this is the quickest and simplest way. So let's do it right now. Hold your candle, take note on how it feels, and say after me, in the divine name of the goddess who breathes life into us all, I consecrate and charge this candle as a magical tool to aid me in my spell work. You can also say, as a magical tool for healing, as a magical tool for, whatever it is. You can get specific. But tonight we want it as a magical tool for our invocation and to bless our year. Once you say this, you've charged the candle. And that's when you can place your charged candle on top of a photograph of a person or a name written down, or on your altar. I have a place where I like to burn my candles specifically, and I always have them by me. Like, I don't think it's possible to be that where I am. I always have a candle by me. I don't know why. It's just, I guess I just realized that today. It's just a thing. Always have one burning. So to me, candles generate a lot of power in my magic. So once we've done that first part, we can now use it as a person, as our will, as what we need, our desire. So in the divine name of the goddess who breathes life into us all, I consecrate and charge this candle as a magical tool for my magic today, tonight, now. And when you say it, let it flow. Some people will say it 3 times so that they can experience the power grow, because at first we're just saying it. The second time you kind of feel it connect, and then the third you always feel more powerful. So watch me do that. You can still hold your candle as I'm doing this. In the divine name of the goddess who breathes life into us all, I consecrate and charge this candle as a magical tool for our magic. In the divine name of the goddess who breathes life into us all, I consecrate and charge this candle as a magical tool for magic tonight. In this divine name of the goddess who breathes life into us all, I consecrate and charge this candle as a magical tool for magic tonight. And you can kind of sense it does get a little more powerful, especially when you're doing it with others and you're saying the same thing. So that is a simple spell, a simple charge that you can do for other people, especially when you're doing healing. And then you would place it wherever you want to burn it. We're still not finished. We're going to do the rest of the invocation. So for us, we are going to do a goddess invocation. So now we're going to take it further, and this is the middle of the spell. And repeat after me. I am the maiden, the east, the winds, the new moon. Gentle and pure maiden, I call to you. I am the warrior, the south, the fire, the waxing moon, powerful and strong. Warrior, I call to you. I am the mother, the west, the sea, the full moon, fertile and loving. Mother Diana, hear me. I am the crone, the north, the earth, the waning moon, ancient and wise. Crone, hear me. And now we'll say the last. This is the end of it. Magic power and candle burn. What I want will come, return. Simona B. Now let's light our candle. You want to watch the flame. Does it grow slow and fast and steady? And what color is it? Oh, mine grew, oh, nice and orange. Oh, let me see. A lot of orange. Beautiful. And if you bring them closer, yeah, look, they all have that orange glow around them. And we'll put our candle aside for a moment and let it burn. Ah, we're not finished with the candle. But I'm going to take a sip of my drink. So take a sip. Okay. So we called Diana, and she is one of the more popular goddesses that people will use connected to the moon magic. And so this month, I want you to focus on connecting to the moon goddess, but I want you to focus on connecting to the moon goddess as a daughter of Diana. And one of the reasons why is because we want to look at, we call Earth Mother, right? We want to create a personal relationship with the goddess so that we can actually experience her wisdom. And this is a month where we can initiate that. So I do want to go into a little bit of the old magic. A lot of this is a accumulation of different families and traditions, and mainly around, I would say, medieval times. Okay, so we're talking about, right now. I had a relaxation tea. I can't even think. Oh, okay, let me see. So let's go into a little bit about it. So the moon goddess Diana is known as a goddess. And many people have heard of Lucifer. Well, Lucifer was known as Diana's brother. So Lucifer was known actually as a god. Diana was known as a goddess. And I don't really like this part, but they ended up having sex. And this was part of witchcraft back then. Sometimes certain ceremonies would take place. I don't know if you've ever seen The Mists of Avalon. Have you seen that movie? The Mists of Avalon? Oh my God, you have to. If you haven't, you have to. I like it because it's like connected to my family heritage, the legend on my English side. My family is supposed to have been the adopted parents of Lancelot, the legend says. But so we're talking about old time. Okay, so it's similar to the story of the Miss of Avalon. The brother and the sister got tricked into having sex. Anyway, Diana is the goddess, and they ended up having a daughter, Lucifer and Diana. And their daughter was named Aradia. And it is known as one of the first cults. There is a Dianic cult, okay, and there's, old ancient cults, but when it comes to witchcraft, this is where it began. So Diana is the goddess, Lucifer, her brother, they had a daughter, Aradia. And Aradia is known as a female messiah. And that this work of hers was the reason why she was born and came to the earth. And she was brought here to establish witches and witchcraft, and then return to heaven. And so with her, there are ceremonies and invocations and incantations to be addressed to Diana and Aradia, including the power of exorcism and the spells of the holy stones, the hag stones that came from the Gospel of Witches, as well as using rue, one of my favorite money herbs, and smells amazing. I used to grow it in BC. I haven't tried it here, but it grows so good. I have to try growing it. As well as verbena. And she was able to open books and receive a message. Similar to like pulling a card, but you would open a book. And she had regular sermons where she would chant or have witch meetings. And the thing is back then people were very curious about incantations. And so she was able to create a following. She also created a sacred meal. And that consisted of a magical bread. So this month, your homework is to be able to create your magical bread. Okay? And you want to create a base that you can change the ingredients and add to it no matter what. It can be bread with yeast or bread without. I'm part native, so I like to use a Bannock recipe. So I am also going to post 2 recipes, and you can try them if you want. But as a priestess, as a high priestess, you definitely want to be able to make bread. Magical bread, depending on what we put into it. Okay. The other thing is, traditionally, it was with honey. So honey is traditional in magic. It's something that we like to have in our cupboard because honey can activate any herbs we put with it. So if we are making a medicine or a healing bread or a healing tea, we can use honey. Also salt. Salt is important. And a traditional witch supper. So one thing that January is traditional to have is cabbage. Cabbage is used for luck. So try to make a cabbage dish. Carrots, because we're coming into Imbolc, are used for lust and desire. And I know some of you have done a priestess feast, and you would have seen the honey used. So I'll use honey with dill and butter on my carrots. Oh my God, it's so good. And you don't use lots, just a little bit. So carrots for lust and desire. Let me see what else. Cinnamon. Put a dash of cinnamon in your coffee for spirituality, success, healing power. Actually, whenever I feel like I'm waking up slowly, and if I have a reading, I go cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, and nutmeg. And it does help me wake up. And it activates psychic powers. So cinnamon is an excellent one to get activated, even to have in your tea as you're doing any readings. Cinnamon will help your psychic powers induce. It's also good for protection and, of course, lust and love. We are going into that time. I can't wait. And clove. The clove is always good to put in to your food, especially a little bit on the meat. And it's really good for exorcism and protection. So you don't like someone's attitude in the house? Put clove in something. And whenever we do these things, it's only to improve, right? It's not all of a sudden, they're under the spell and they can't speak, but they'll just be a little more positive. If there's a negative attachment, it works. And let's see, dill is for sure. Protection, money, lust, luck. So we want to incorporate some of those into our medicine. I'm not done talking about the herbs this month because I know when you did your priestess class, we talked about agrimony, right? Agrimony is a neutralizer. So we use it because it actually neutralizes any type of energy, right? It also is an influence for giving us good advice. So if we're like, you can't get connected, agrimony will help you get connected because sometimes there's too much stuff. I find that I get I get affected by electricity. I can't have too much electricity. And I have a grounding mat. I have a big stone. You should see it. It's the biggest, most beautiful stone I ever had. Both my feet sit on it. It's beautiful. And I ground. So find a grounding stone that you can put at a place where you can just place your feet on it. But breaking the electrical current is really important. And agrimony was known as a universal antidote thousands of years ago because it's used against any type of threats, any type of curses, any evil eyes, is very protective. And we can use it as a potion. So I put this in food. You can even drink it as a tea, the golden tea, and you can make it into a bath. It's amazing. Or mop your floor with it. The other herb I like to mix with agrimony is mugwort. So I really want to get into mugwort because it is something that we use quite often. And these are things that you can grow in your garden. And of course, if you ever get from me, okay, 2022, starting this month, anything that you want to make products for. So say you're doing, oh, I want to make some neutralizing bath salts and sell them. Let me know and I will get you wholesale pricing on your ingredients. Okay. And that will help you get going. So November or January is known to neutralize. It's a good time to protect. So you want to offer that to people, let people know, I'll do a protection over your place. I'll smudge it. If you don't want to go into their place, make something. So create something that has a neutralizing effect this month that you can use as an incense to burn. You can make it into a smudge, or you can make it into a bath, even a tea, okay? The other thing is one thing that I like to do in January is implement chocolate. I like to have chocolate in January and February. Oh, so bad. But I like to use cacao and chocolate. So I have a ritual drink that I use, and it's natural chocolate, and you grind it up and you boil it. And this is something that I like to give to my customers when they come in for a service. So I want you to create a healing ceremony this month using hot chocolate. You can use regular hot chocolate. You can use cacao. You can use cocoa. It doesn't matter. Okay. And let's go into this healing ritual. So of course, whenever you do a healing, you want to make sure you have a healing ritual for a candle. You can use blue or white. If you're dealing with physical healing, where it's like medical and surgery and anything that might have to do with cutting, use a red candle. If it's physical healing, anything that has to do with finances, green candle. So you want to, whatever the healing is, you want to connect to the candle and the color. But white, you can use for anything. And if you're going to use white, you carve onto the candle their name or what the desire is. And I specifically use words. When I got into magic earlier, I always did the celestial alphabet, and I played around with that and carved my candles. Then I started doing the Pictish, and I started doing the Pictish alphabet, which is like fairy alphabet, which was really fun. Maybe I'll post that. You guys want to try like a fairy alphabet on your candles this month? I'll post the alphabet down and you can try it. It's amazing. If any of you are into drawing spirals and never know why, you could have Pictish blood. So if you're connected to the spiral, that might be why. I don't even know where I went. Weird. I was talking about candles, carving them. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's see. Oh yes, we're doing the ritual, duh. So you prepare the candle first. That's number one, okay? And I always like to make sure that I do have a water with me that I'm drinking, not just for the spell, or a tea. And usually what I drink also has to do with the healing. because I want to walk away from that ritual as a living healing power. So I make a drink. Okay. So I have a drink, I have the candle. Oh, let's get to it. Now you have the person, right? Now you need to take time. And of course, it's important to have everything of each element. So have a crystal or the healing stone that represents the healing you want, okay? If you need to heal someone's throat, have a throat chakra stone on the altar, okay? And of course, have an herb burning, right? The herbs burning create the spirit that we need to manifest. And then you have your drink. So whatever you don't drink when you're doing your spell work, you give that to the earth, just like we do whenever we're doing a full moon ceremony. You don't need food when you do spells. But I want you to practice this month. So all 4 elements, charge a candle like I had it earlier. And now we're going to go into healing. And first, and we're going to do this together, okay, right now. So breathe through your mouth, make sure your feet are flat on the floor. You can be standing, even if you're doing this before you do a Reiki session, you can do this ritual, it will help you. Breathe a few times and just relax. And understand that when we do healing for people, we are becoming a spirit carrier. Okay, like we actually carry the power of the spirit. I want you to focus on your navel area. Breathe. We want to focus on note on how we feel. And it's important because when we help the sick, you have to remember the promise of the goddess. For ecstasy is mine and joy on the earth. And so that is something that I claim in my healings. Remember, when we're helping the sick, for ecstasy is mine and joy on the earth. So let there be joy in your heart. Reach people with joy. Be glad to see them when they arrive. If times are hard, make sure you think it might have been worse. And you have to know the joys of the Sabbaths. And those are the celebrations in the wheel. And if you know them, you can think of the beauty and the feeling of them. And this energy will enter your health and you will be better. But we must banish all fear because it will touch you. And it can hurt our body, it can hurt our soul, and whatever is beyond it. So breathe through your mouth. Focus on your navel. Now put your left hand over on your navel. And breathe. And think about the goddess, maiden, Mother, Crone, Maiden, Mother, Crone. And as you do that, Maiden, Mother, Crone. It's important for us to relax and feel her presence. As soon as you feel relaxed, say that 3 times, remove your hands. Focus on what you want healed right now. We're using our own life before we use someone else's. Your whole body needs to be healed. So right now, this is a time where we release ego-driven thinking and release the way we react. From this time until we get into Imbolc, and the next time we meet, we're changing. And we're going through a soul retrieval. We are the seer right now. And what happens is our dreams are beginning to get realized. So we are meant to walk with no fear. And as we walk with no fear of falling while we walk, let's say, our mind is activated with wisdom. So right now, we are mastering time. We are owning our sight. Okay. All right. Okay, so we are becoming a spirit carrier. And when we do healings, we are a carrier of spirit medicine. And it's really important for us to become a visionary of what it is that we want. So I wanted you to take a moment to think about the things that you want. Now, when you're thinking about the things that you want, are you actually seeing what you want or feeling it? Okay, because the reason why we are creating a vision for the healing that we need is because we need to build an energy base. So first, you created your altar. The candle is burnt. In the healing, you have everything laid out, but you need to now become the energy base. So whenever you create the altar, you want to look at it and connect with it. I always go like this into my gasho, and I always bring both of my hands up into the goddess stance and back down, and I'll feel it. So because you are a spirit carrier, you should be able to feel your own energy and make sure that you have an energy base, okay? And this increased energy base equals an efficiency and a wellness. There's an energy and there's a joy. So let's do this. Go into Gasho. You want to do this before you do any healing on people or spell work on others, but this is how I like to just give myself energy. So now we're going to go back into goddess mode, Isis. And I want you to bring both of your hands down, all the way down in front of you, kind of like you see me. very slowly, and we're going to put it, both of our hands right above the energy of our belly button. Don't go below our belly button. Try to be just above it, as if you're almost going to, yeah, just above it. I'd say like 2 fingers above it. And feel the energy. And if you're sitting, you might feel your table a little bit, or you might feel your legs. Who cares? It doesn't exist. Now I want you to move your right hand and just put it up so that it's like out towards your side. It's not pointing at you. Take your left hand, and I want you to go clockwise in a spiral. Go clockwise in a spiral. You're right above you. Now remember, we have 12 auric bodies. So you want the spiral to start to go out about 12 inches, so a foot. Just keep doing this spiral motion in and out, bigger and smaller, almost like you're spinning a record. You're your own DJ. Do that for a few minutes, breathing only from your mouth. And you should start to feel almost like a cold chill somewhere coming into your body. Your hand starting to get weak, put it down. Move your left hand out. We're going to put our left hand out. Now we're going to bring our right hand down and over what we just did. And we're going to do clockwise position. And if you can't feel the energy, you can go up and down until you feel that magnetic pull, and clockwise. Make sure you go 12 inches out, spiral. As your left hand gets sore, up. So use your arms and your muscles as when you should stop. Okay, now that you're stopped, go sideways and just put your hands down for a minute on your laps. Feel your palms. So that is one way to create a foundation for healing. And if you haven't felt anything, practice it. But if you have felt it, then you have increased your energy. When my hand's away, I can still feel energy happening there. It's like cool energy, just like on the surface of my skin. So this energy is actually the energy center that we can use to release the feelings of loneliness, alienization, or alienation. Alienization. That's so funny. Okay. Alienation, victimization, okay, as well as any type of disease. So anything negative, right? What I'm saying is like 3 words, the whole world of negativity. We can work it out through that. And if you're someone like me that has a belly, like I have a hernia, so I have like this belly that does not go in. This is something that you should do. It'll help you. And when you build your energy base, you're actually learning the practice of ceremony, because you're fortifying an energetic connection. And that work is actually known as communicating with nature. So when you do the calling in above your navel like that in front of you, like you're spinning a plate, in the ancient times, that was known as communicating with nature. And the practice also involved our breath work. And that was known as a self-renewal process, And you can do that. I want you to try to do that to somebody else and just say, I want to try something on you. Get them to close their eyes and do that first, building your energy base on them. And then ask them if they could feel anything or what it felt like. Once, then it goes further. So that's just one part, okay? And of course, it doesn't have to take very long. I'm just taking my time telling you about this. The next thing is, as soon as we get to that place and our hands are on our lap and we're connected to nature, we're connected to the goddess, we're actually in a trance. And that's when we actually can become a medicine carrier, because we will start to experience seeing something. And this refines our ability to see. So the way we see right after we do that shows us our power. So we'll be told, maybe a stone will come to mind. Nothing comes to mind. I always ask, bring me the power of what I need to heal this. And you need to pay attention, because this is a way to open up your psychic sight, and it connects to your intellectual knowingness. And all of a sudden, you'll have this direct experience to develop the ability to see or sense the unseen world. And you will learn to pay attention and explore what your mode of consciousness is bringing. And it's important for us to learn how to receive guidance. You know, so many people have this attitude that, you know, they're calling it out, but they're waiting. You know, it's like they're waiting for their connection. When is the goddess going to come and connect with me? No, we have to connect with her, right? We need to heighten ourselves. So once you build your energy base, you want to take a few moments and breathe and just pay attention. What is the loudest thing? What is the brightest thing? What is the first thing that came in? Then the second step comes in. And that's opening your heart. So first thing, building your energy base, becoming a visionary watcher. Now we're opening our heart. We're becoming heart-centered. And this is where the great universal heart becomes a vehicle that can release whatever it is that we need to release. And we can actually do this and live an open heart for the day. So if you practiced this in the morning and let yourself just breathe and know that your heart is going to open, you are now connecting to a sacred breath. And it's actually called sacred reciprocity. Oh, almost sound like a place to go. But we basically become containers of the love, of the healing, of the retrieval, whether that person needs a release or they need to face a shadow. Maybe it's an experience, an emotional clearing. In addition, we can define our own personal codes of honor and strive to act with the healing that comes through you. A lot of times when you're doing these healings, your own trauma comes forward. And if I get something that has happened to me come forward, I'll let them know, I see this. I don't tell them it's my experience. But when you're healing someone's trauma, your trauma comes forward as the vehicle to open that door. Right? And you can say, this is what I just saw, right? Just like if I see my grandfather, I always say, is there someone named John that you know in the spirit world? Because I know my grandfather isn't connected to that person, but his name came up. So it's important for us to open our hearts and know that we are now the container of the magic and the healing that we are doing right now. And then you need to accept the path of it being healed. And that is one thing, is whatever you are doing today is going to be tomorrow for you. So becoming a medicine carrier means that you will have an increased capacity for manifesting change in your life, but also you're now opening that change to help others change. And you can't define what that path is going to be, because now you'll just be identifying to the feelings and the dreams and the visions of how you are meant to be in service with that universal heart. And it's not ugly, it's beautiful. So none of this should be something that you should fear. Okay? So those are the steps to create. And I want you to make sure that you try this in a healing circle with your hot chocolate and a candle, building up your base. And you can even do this, what I spoke of, with a circle of more than one person. You can do it with 4 people. Say, hey, I want to do a sharing circle where we are going to invoke our spirit medicine and become carriers of that. And do it by donation. A lot of things I'll do by donation, and it's amazing. Like, people honor that. The other thing that's important is when we are doing healings for people and to help the sick, you have to remember that if you're helping others, it helps you forget your own problems, right? Same for, anything we do. As soon as we go into something spiritual, we forget about certain things unless we're focusing on that magic. So when we help the sick, we are away from our own problems. And that's something that is important. And if another person is in pain, do what you can to distract their attention from it, right? Because if you're doing something, your pain goes, you can get their pain to go too. But you never want to say, ignore your pain or you have no pain. But you want to administer the herbs to burn, right? That will help get rid of it. So I feel if it's a negative spirit that's causing the pain of the person I'm doing a reading for, even if they're not in front of me, even if they're on Zoom, I'll burn it. So we use our stuff, and that's our science to get things better. So you always want to think happy thoughts, right? To make sure you're giving your client or who you're healing or yourself the things that you want to see. I want them pain-free. I want them to find their soulmate. I want them to experience freedom. You have to stick that into the magic. So what affirmation? Make sure you always have 3 affirmations that you're putting into the magic. And it's really important because we have to do this believing that our spell is going to work. And that's hard. But for me, I just do it. It's like, I don't even think whether it's going to work or not. To me, it just does. But it took me a lot to get there. And it's important because we have cult power. Is what it is. It's a cult power. And people believe in that. They know that you have cult power. So if you feel like there is something that you don't want to heal and enter into your power, make sure you refuse it. Okay? And the truth is that if you believe you have more power, you will possess more power. So whenever we do spell work, we want to call in more power. And it's important for us to possess powers because we learn how to do them and get better at them. But it's important for us to find out about people that we're doing healings for. Why are they sick? Right? What do they need? Want specific. And it's important for them to declare something in the future. Right? Because we want the next time I see that person, right? I always put it in my head, the next time I see that person, they're going to be happier and healthier than I've ever seen them. And that's how I close it off. The other thing that's important is, it's important that we look between their eyes. Not, I always look at my client right here, okay? And the reason why is because if you're looking there, you'll be able to see the glow of their third eye. Is it light or is there a shadow? This is where, it is. And the other thing is if you are looking here at their eyes, they right here, not at their eyes, but in between, they will go sleepy. They will relax. And if you are looking at them and you know that they're becoming relaxed, you don't just stare for half an hour. Okay, I'm just talking a couple minutes. Okay, so look at my third eye right now, right? And if they become tired, you have healing power. So I always connect with their third eye before I begin. And if I find that it's difficult and they're gray, then I focus on healing their third eye and I put my hands there as if I'm doing Reiki on them. And I go like this until I can feel that energy. And if you can make them tired, then you can get them to fall asleep. So it would be awesome if you could practice making people tired or fall asleep just by looking at them here, because that is a power that we're meant to grow. And if they do, then it's believed that they will do whatever you tell them. So we do have the power to hypnotize. It is something that is traditional. And this is something that will continue to grow. And it continues to grow as we connect to the feeling of the Sabbats. And that's one of the reasons why the 8 wheels of the witch or the 8 practices are so important, because sometimes we don't feel it in full, but what we are receiving is happening in our spirit and in our mind. And it is trying to bring us this energy that is actually the power of ecstasy. So it's pretty interesting. A lot of people don't realize that, but we're automatically being influenced by all of these things. Okay. The other thing is you should never tempt to admit or boast that any of the healings belong to you. So I would never say, oh, I healed that person, because you are the channel. The universe healed that person, right? So you could say, I've done healing and treatments to help them, right? But let people admit, let people bring to you how they felt. But we never claim powers of the cult. It can endanger us. We have to be careful with what's out there, right? And there's many religious people that know we have these secrets. We can hypnotize by looking in between the eye. And it's important for us that we just keep it calm. We don't want to create problems with religious sectors about some of these occult powers that we do have. And if people knew about this stuff, we could be harassed or persecuted. Who knows? There are people out there that are still hunting witches. And it doesn't stop. Last summer at a hotel I stayed at, the Bible was full of someone in there in Nova Scotia talking about killing witches. And I had a feeling, that they're traveling around. So you have to be really careful. And coming out is something that is still modern, but good thing, when you're open, you're also have a whole army of people that will back you up. And that's why I'm okay with it now. But 10 years ago, I wouldn't have come out on Facebook like this. Do you know what I mean? So we want to be careful about the attention that we're getting, right? And even if someone claimed in the papers that you healed them, you did treatments on them, right? The universe healed them. Whatever you want to claim it as something. And you always want to think joy, think love, try to help others, bring joy into their lives. The other thing is we strive to work with learning about things that we can believe in. And we learn through people's existing beliefs in us, the feedback that we get. But one of the things that we do work with and we do believe in is amulets. And an amulet is not an ordinary stone. It is something that we create. And I want to get into amulet making this month. So I have to put that on my notes. And we're going to make some amulets this month. These are going to be master talismans that are old and ancient. So you can use them to impose your will, and we'll practice that in our next class. So talisman work will be happening in this circle, as well as the rest of the healing. Okay. So those are some of the rules that they say we should have. But I want you to try the third eye thing. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else before I leave. Okay. And I do believe this is a time of taste that's coming out. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I have a couple other things, but I think I'm just going to post them for everybody and do like separate little videos. So we'll do that. And the only last thing is we were going into that Diana, so we did her. But before we go, I want to end with what Diana said before we move on. So look at your candle. Actually, before we end the circle, we end this, let me pull the card first. And then we can end with this and then put our candle out, okay? Okay, or you can let it keep going. So I'm just going to pull our card now for the month. Okay, I like this one. I haven't gotten this before, but it says, I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. So this month, focus on a healing ceremony or a healing ritual that you can use for body, mind, and spirit. Okay. And I'll post a couple of things, but I kind of want you to put it together. So you want to create, where's my to-do book? I had a whole list here just for class. Okay, so you want to create something that has neutralizing power that you can burn as an incense, or you can bath with it. And I want you to do a healing ceremony. And we did the Aradia invocation, so we're good on that. Okay. So neutralizing and healing, a healing spell or ceremony, or both. Okay. Okay, so look at your candle. We're going to end this invocation. So, as you're looking at the flame, repeat after me. It's true, indeed, that there is a spirit art, and I was born to do it. A mortal, I am here on earth below to be a teacher to women and men who want to study witchcraft. And I shall be the first of witches known around me. And I shall be the first of all in my world to be. And I shall teach the art of healing, of potions, of brews, and I shall make them in the place of the men and women to find, it says a peasant who is rich. Sometimes this old stuff. To find a peasant who is rich and to teach the powers of the witch. Your pupil now will learn about these crops of herbs and candles with heart's desire, with protection, with lightning, and with thunder, with the call of the wind. I shall do what I choose. Diana, Queen of Witches, I thank you for your power. And when I have departed from this world, I know that you will be there to comfort me. So once in the month, and when the moon is full, I do assemble in a secret place to adore spirit, to honor my mother, great Diana, to teach me sorcery that has not yet won its deepest desires, my will. Diana, I call for a sign that you are free and near me. And to the women that I am meant to connect with, I open myself so that I can, and I can hold your spirit within. So mote it be. Okay, and that is it. So look at your candle for a minute, try to see the goddess energy. You can snuff your candle or leave it burning. And that is meant to give us our power for this year, our protection for this year, but also to connect to our magic. Okay, so neutralizing magic and healing magic. I'm going to post something tomorrow along with this video. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Have a great night. Many blessings. Connect to your magic. Bye-bye.